Welcome back, listeners, to the Brighter Side of Blue, our worldwide podcast, coming to you from Columbo's Cafe and Tavern in Dogtown, St. Louis. It's the home of the famous Seabo's Thin Crust Pizza and Daily Lunch Specials. I'm Danny.
I'm Tommy.
JJ.
Producer Jen.
Nobody cut you off. It
Check's
went
not
according
here.
to plan. It went
But
very
Check
well.
is here because he's involved in the interview.
Oh, yeah, he'll be stepping in. He'll be
He's
stepping in.
He's in here in a
What are we
minute.
talking about? What do you got?
We've got Chief Chris Neace on tonight, the chief of New Haven, and he talks about two of his friends that were involved in a horrific incident. Unfortunately, Mason Griffith lost his life during this, and Adam Sullentrup severely injured. And Chris, and recently the guy who did this went to trial, and Chris was there for every day of the trial. And he gives us a rundown on what happened. He was on earlier. Him and Chief Marlin were on.
Good job.
And they talked about the incident, but they couldn't really open up about exactly what happened,
Right.
how it went down. And Chris when he went to court, and I can attest to this, is when I did the TT Jordan trial.
Yep.
Now I had heard what this trial was going to be about, and, from the investigators that I knew that I had talked to. That's why I went and covered it. I was like, this is going to be some interesting stuff. But even though I knew just about every investigator, the story they laid out was unbelievable.
The prosecutors,
Chris says,
you mean?
the prosecutors
Right,
laid
yeah.
out. These prosecutors that we got, and especially some of the better ones, and they all know who they are. The U.S. attorneys fill with them, and we've had several of them over the years in our circuit attorney's office. And when you get those good ones, when they put a case together, it's pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah.
When you sit through the trial like that and you watch that, and Chris talks about it, it's pretty impressive. The time they put into this thing, and they get passionate about it, and now you have a policeman who was killed and another policeman who was injured for life. And then you put the passion behind that. Chris was very passionate.
He was
These are
good.
his friends.
He did an unbelievable job telling the story. He's very well spoken, and his heart's in the whole thing. And his best friend was killed, anyway he just stepped up, and it was unbelievable. I think he did a great job.
Awesome.
Right. And Chris and then he talks a little bit about, last time we had him on, he was just started the
Right.
New Haven.
He actually hadn't even started yet.
Right.
He was getting all his people together.
Yeah.
And now he gives us an update on the New Haven Police Department. So it's a great conversation.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, and then we will be right back with all kinds of good stuff. We got the Dunn family. Danny's got the 911, some 911 history.
Murderous stuff.
And God only knows what JJ's got, but you got to come back for that, don't you?
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
have to.
Enjoy the interview with Chris Neace.
Peace. Time for a word from our sponsors, JJ. If you need some serious security, who do you go to?
Personally, I would go when you're looking for real protection, not just a badge on a wall. Make the call to the Campbell Security Group, based right there in St. Louis. They're veteran-owned and powered by former law enforcement and military professionals, from executive protection to private air security. They got your back. Get a peace of mind when it matters most. Visit CampbellSecurityGroup.com or call 314-499-1121. Campbell Security Group, because safeguarding your world requires more than watchful eyes. It demands proven action.
Tommy, they have a lot of vehicles at Campbell Security Group. If they need repair, where are they heading to?
I'll tell you what, when your car needs real attention, brakes, diagnostic, tires, or full service, you want a shop you can trust. That's Fairway Automotive. 5 locations across the St. Louis area, all family run, all built on honest work and quality repair. Their certified techs don't guess. They diagnose, fix it right, and keep you safely on the road. Fairway backs every job with integrity and a hometown service that's harder to find these days. Visit fairwayautomotive.com to book your next appointment. Fairway Automotive, where it's not just done the right way, it's done the fair way. Welcome to our interview with Chief Chris Neace. Welcome back to the show, Chris.
I appreciate it. It's been over a year, but I appreciate it.
Has it been over a year?
January 19th, I believe, is whenever I was on with
We were that
Chief Walker.
impressed. We were that impression. Do you remember the date, huh?
That memorable. It was always my first.
All right. But on that show, we did talk about the death of Detective Mason Griffith and the injury that Adam Sullentrup also. But you didn't get into the case.
Correct.
Put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah. So we couldn't get into very many details due to the trial going to be upcoming in the future years. I don't even know if a trial date had been set at that time. but we wanted to make sure that we didn't mess with the trial.
Right.
Right. To say information that could come back to haunt the
it was-
prosecution and everybody else.
Open
Yeah. So
investigation.
yeah. So pretty much what we talked about is what you saw in the news.
Right.
So with a little extra detail, but nothing that affected the case.
Right. But now that trial has gone to, it went to trial this 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yes.
What date was that, Chris, if you remember?
I believe the 20th is whenever
January?
it started. January 20th.
Okay.
It was a Tuesday, so whatever that Tuesday was, but I'm pretty sure it was the 20th. And then it went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we did have court on Saturday. On Saturday, I believe it was the 24th, at about 8 o'clock at night. That's when the jury found Kenneth Lee Simpson guilty of first degree.
And just for everybody's references, we're taping this on February the 5th. It's Thursday night. It's 2 shows we tape tonight. This will probably, don't know when it's coming out, but I just wanted to give everybody the timeline here. And I know I talked to Chris on the phone, Chief. I'm going to call you Chris just because we're in that setting.
Yeah, nope, that's fine.
I just don't want to think that I'm just blowing off your status.
When you say chief, I sound too old, so I don't want to.
You are
way
a young
too
chief.
Yeah. But I talked to you on the phone. Very passionate about this. Adam and Mason are very good friends of yours, and you went to every day of this trial, correct?
Every day of the trial. Yep. The first week, again, was Tuesday through Saturday. The next week was Monday through Friday. The only day we had off was Sunday. They didn't have court on Sunday.
I think one of the things that we talked about too that I found somewhat interesting, and I keep saying that I find shit interesting.
You do.
I find a lot
You're
of shit
interesting. You're interested in a lot of shit.
I get you. But what we were talking about is being in a trial, because as police officers, we testify in trials.
Yep.
But we don't witness a lot of trials, so we don't sit through all the evidence and how the prosecution presents a case and sit through that whole thing. And what we found, and I did it with recently with the T.T. Jordan case back in February, and you just did it now. And
Correct.
There's so much stuff that you thought you knew the whole case, correct?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But there's stuff that came out in that trial that you didn't know.
Correct. Yeah, there was actually quite a few things that I didn't know, and looking back on it, it was like, wow, I can't believe I didn't even hear that just through the grapevine or whatever. But just sitting in there and seeing all that evidence, because when I go to court, I go on the stand, I do my thing, and then I go home. I ask if I'm released, and I go home. I don't care, because if they decide to find the person not guilty, then it ticks me off. If they find them guilty, I know that they're probably not going to get anything but maybe
Right.
probation. So I don't stick around. But yeah, in this trial, it one, I was emotionally attached, but two, is a big case. I mean, you don't have police officers shot in Gasconade County. You don't have police officers shot usually in Franklin County. Now, we did have an incident in, I believe, 2020 where 2 of the Franklin County deputies were shot whenever I worked at Franklin County. But this was one where one was permanently injured and where one was killed.
Right. Well, let's go back to let's set the scene again for those who didn't listen to the first episode. Tell us just an overview. Give us an overview of what the trial was about.
So the trial was about just the night of March 12th, 2023, Kenneth Lee Simpson shot and killed Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith at a Casey's gas station in Hermann, Missouri. Adam Sullentrup was the second officer that was there. They were both there at the same time. Adam was shot in the head and he was shot in the spleen. He immediately was unconscious, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but he was immediately unconscious. He did survive, and he actually now works with the New Haven Police Department, where I'm the chief of, as my public relations specialist. So if I have a PR event, for instance, next week on February 13th, last year we did it at the New Haven Care Center, where we went and gave the old folks, the ladies flowers and the men candy. The men don't care about the flowers, so we give the ladies the flowers and the men the candy. But he goes and he shows up. He worked for New Haven for 5 years. Unfortunately, on the night of March 12th, his career was taken from him. He'll never be a cop again. But if I can give that back as much as possible, that's what I'm going to do. He worked for New Haven for 5 years. The city knew him. He would go up to the care center. His grandma was up there, so some of the ladies kind of even knew him.
He was a hot cop, right?
He is known as Officer Hottie. So when we go throughout town,
I know his pain.
Yeah, whenever he
You heard about him? You heard about him?
I heard. I know his pain.
yeah, see, I don't have that issue, but when we go out and about, people will bring that up to him, and just seeing him get a smile. Because when I first asked him to be a part of the New Haven Police Department, whenever I took over, I asked him, hey, come aboard. I didn't have any officers yet. It was just me. I was going to be starting January 25, and the department had dissolved. All right, it had disbanded. Right. So I asked him if he wanted to be a part. The only thing that he could even say, the only word that he knew was yes. If it was a no, he would just not answer. So if you asked a yes or no question and the answer was no, he would just stare at you. He could not vocalize no. Wow. But whenever I met with him on, I believe it was a Thursday, I met with him. I gave him a embroidered polo with his name on it. I talked to his wife before I met with him because she is a EMT for the New Haven ambulance, and I wanted to make sure that she was okay with him being a part of it, because if I were to get shot in the line of duty, I can't promise that my wife would want me anywhere near a patrol car. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to make sure she was comfortable with it. She was. I gave him that shirt. I met with him at about 10 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock that night, Michelle texted me and said he's still wearing the shirt. You know, he was like a kid on Christmas.
That's great.
You know, and,
that's awesome.
And he was only gone from New Haven for about 3.5 months. He left New Haven in December of 22 and went to the Hermann Police Department. And then in March of 23 is whenever he was shot. So he wasn't there for very long. Most of his career was at the Hermann Police Department. That's where everybody knows him.
That's incredible. So so that happens. Now it's time for the trial, and you're pretty gassed up and you're ready to go. Now, who are the prosecutors for the state?
So the Attorney General's office provided the prosecutors, and it was Greg and Tristan. I don't know their last names, but Greg and Tristan, and they did a phenomenal job. Between them, the private investigators that were part of them for getting all the witnesses for the prosecution side, just every one of their staff was just awesome. And I will tell you that, again, I never watched any of the any other trials or anything like that, but watching this, Greg and Tristan, they did a phenomenal job, because anything the defense would try to give it as an excuse, they would immediately eliminate that. And I think that they are a key part in getting the conviction, but not only them, but the law enforcement that also went on scene whenever the shooting happened, during the 15 hours of being barricaded, and everything that transpired after, because Gasconade County is a county where there is only probably one deputy on at a time. It's not a large agency by any stretch of the imagination. So the troopers, they work with the county. The municipal police, they work with the county. They work with the troopers. Everybody works together in Gasconade County. I worked there in a either full-time or reserve capacity for the Hermann Police Department for 8 years before I ultimately ended up at Franklin County Sheriff's Office, and then now as the chief in New Haven. And there was a trooper by the name of Kobe Hoshu, and he was the one that had to transport Kenneth Lee Simpson when he finally came out of the house to the command post. And the thing that makes that significant is a month prior, Kobe and Mason were baptized at their church, and Kobe had invited Mason to his church about a year, and I'm not quite sure on the timeline, but about a year prior. And so Kobe, that's a very emotional time. He's obviously pissed off. His friend just got, shot and killed. And then he's sitting right next to the person, because troopers keep him up front, whereas I have a cage in my car. If you go in my car, it's in the back. But the law enforcement professionalism to know, hey, we've got a job to do. We can't make issues with this case. We can't, as much as you want to say what you want to say, right. You've got to bite your tongue, do what you want to do. You have to bite your tongue and hold yourself back.
So you mentioned a lot of the things, but let's just go back to how this all occurred. And again, now you're talking from what you knew and the trial. So let's set up the day of and how the call comes out and what happens. So let's go through that.
Yeah. So on March 12th of 2023, Kenneth Lee Simpson ordered some food from Casey's. In Hermann, Missouri, on a Sunday, there's not really a lot open. It's a very small town. They don't have a lot of options. Your only options is either Casey's and Subway, and sometimes Subway closes early because they're just not busy. So they just kind of close up. So your only option usually is Casey's. Well, Kenneth Lee Simpson, he ordered some food from Casey's at about 8:12 p.m. He went down there to get his food. It was projected to be ready around 8:40-ish, somewhere around there. Well, he went down there. The food was running behind because there were so many people ordering food because it's the only option. So he's kind of standing around, and he ordered it under the name of Kevin Maxey. So whenever he made the order, he claims it was from a previous order. I don't know whether it was or not, but regardless, the order was under Kevin Maxey. And so he was down there. He was waiting for it. A gentleman that used to run with him recognized him and knew that he had, or had a pretty good assumption that he had felony warrants. And so he told the cashier that was there at Casey's, hey, this is a bad dude. You know, you need to call the police. He even talked about in his testimony, which was on stand, that he looked like a G.I. Joe and he was ready for battle. His boots laced up tight. He had a across the chest bag. His hat was backwards. He just looked like he was ready for battle. And so he told the cashier, hey, this is a bad dude. He's got warrants. You need to call the police. For whatever reason, she didn't. I don't know if she got busy. I don't know if she just didn't want to. Regardless, she did not. That gentleman then left the Casey's. He drove down the road. He saw Adam Sullentrup sitting in a parking lot at a Mexican restaurant just down the road. He pulls up to him. He's like, hey, there's this guy. Gives him a description. Says, he is in the Casey's right now. He's waiting on food. He's got felony warrants. Bad dude. Just FYI. Adam calls Mason. They work out a plan. They both show up. Mason sends him a picture of what Kenneth Simpson looks like. And so they all pull up to Casey's and they go in. When they go into Casey's, that is when all this starts. So Kenneth Simpson sees the two officers come in. You see that on the surveillance. He sees them. He walks away from the kitchen area and he walks to the back corner where the hallway is to the bathrooms. And he even says later on in an interview, I knew they were there for him. So that's where his mind's at. He knows that they're there for him. He knows he's about to go to jail. So this shows his thought process. Right. So they go up, they approach him, they ask him, hey, you know, we were told that you got warrants. You look like this Kenneth Simpson character. Do you have any ID on you? He starts playing the name game. No, I'm Justin. Being argumentative, all this stuff. Well, then they're like, well, what is the food ordered under? And then he's like, what? You know, it's ordered under Kevin. That's my name, Kevin. Well, looking back on it, it's easy to see in the video, well, I thought you said Justin, you know. But in that moment, you know, you've got a guy that's not cooperating with you. You know, your adrenaline's up. So I don't think that they caught it. It wasn't, I mean, it didn't, nothing in the video made it clear that they thought they caught it. But regardless, he started playing the name game. So both officers, they left their phones in their car. So Mason tells Adam, hey, go back out to your car, grab your phone, and we'll compare the picture. So Adam goes out to his car, and then when Adam gets his phone, he comes back in. Now, from the time that he enters the Casey's gas station to the time that the shots are fired is 13 seconds. Wow. It's not long. It's not like they argued for another couple minutes. It's 13 seconds. And so Adam walks up. He has the picture, and he's like, man, this is you. And, no, that's not me. That's not me. Take your hat off. He takes his hat off. No, that's not me. Well, then he knows that it's the gig's up.
Gig's up, right.
Mason tries to grab his hand to put him in cuffs, and that is when he hops back. He grabs his .40 caliber out of his waistband, and he shoots. Now, when he shoots 3 rounds at first. The first round hits Mason in the left hand. Okay, that's not the fatal shot. He hits him in the left hand, then he turns and he shoots Adam in the head, and then he shoots Adam in the spleen. Adam immediately is knocked unconscious. He starts seizing. You see that in the body cam. He is seizing violently. He has got very labored breathing. You just see blood all over the floor, you know, in other camera angles. But the body cam was very hard to watch. Mason returns fire. He's able to get his gun. He returns fire. He shoots one time. And he misses. He hit the wall. I don't even remember what he hit, but he didn't hit Kenneth Simpson, unfortunately. And so Kenneth Simpson, he then ran towards the door. And while he ran towards the door, he pointed his gun back at those officers. and he tried to shoot, but the gun jammed. You see him on the surveillance video. He clears the jam. He had that mindset to clear the jam. He then takes a shooting stance. He grips the gun, and he fires not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 times. One time hitting Mason Griffith right here, going through, coming out here, and destroying everything in his path. So that was the fatal shot. He then ran out the door and went up to the house that was kind of catty corner.
Now, was all that shown in trial?
That was all shown in the trial.
Wow.
The surveillance, the body cam. Now, the body cam and the waiting for the verdict for murder first, the body cam was kind of spliced up like, hey, here's 3 minutes, here's 3 minutes, stuff like that. But during the penalty phase, they played it in full. So you saw Mason's body cam when he gets shot and he is yelling out, I've been hit. He's screaming over the radio, I've been hit. The dispatcher, Miss Terry, you know, I've known her for a very long time. She retired not long after this because that is, I believe she said that is like her 4th or 5th person that she's lost in the line of duty as a dispatcher, because she used to work up in Warren County and there was a couple motor vehicle accidents and stuff like that. But this really hit home to her because Hermann, they have their own dispatch in their police department. Mm-hmm. And so your officer and your dispatcher get a close relationship. Right. It's not like they're in their separate building across town and you never see them or anything like that. But
real quick, how hard was that for their significant others to watch that?
So I will say that Mason's widow, Jen, Mason's mother, Adam's mom, Adam's wife, Michelle, and then Jen's mother were all in the room.
They watched it.
They all watched it. Michelle's mom was there a couple days. I don't think she was there for the body cam. I don't really recall, but everybody sat there. And
But you told me something on the phone that I found. They didn't watch it in the court for the first time.
No.
The prosecutors called all of you guys in
Yes.
that were going to be somewhat emotional about this and said, hey, why don't you guys look at this first before you guys see this in court for the first time?
Yes. So the AG's office let everybody that needed to watch it before the trial watch it. So the first time they saw it was not in court. I didn't want to watch it. I hadn't seen it prior to that day, even though I'm good friends with Marlon. I never asked to see it, never once. I didn't really know if I wanted to hear my friend screaming for help, dying on the radio or on the body cam, or my public relations specialist having labor, breathing, and seizing. I didn't know if I wanted to see that for 40 minutes or whatever the body cam length was. Wow. But my assistant chief, he actually went and he saw the body cam and he's like, Chris, you need to see this before you're sitting in the same room with Mr. Simpson. Mm-hmm. And so I thought about it and I was like, you know what? You're not wrong, because there's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be anger. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be all this stuff. And the first time that I see this does not need to be when this coward is sitting catty corner to me. Right. So I went there actually on Martin Luther King Day. They came in on a holiday. They opened up the room. It was me and some troopers. And we watched it before. So the first time was not in court. But no matter if it's your first time, your 10th time, or 100th time, it's still hard to hear, no matter 100%. Who it is.
So when he runs out, though, you mentioned a 15-hour standoff. So when he goes out of the store, then what happens?
So when he runs out of
Simpson, I'm talking about.
Yeah. So when he runs out of the store, he then runs up the hill to a house that's catty corner. That was on Highway 19 there, and the backpack that he did have, he ditched and threw in the weeds across the street from the house. In the backpack, there was miscellaneous trash, pens, pencils, stuff like that, but it also had a syringe with methamphetamine in it. It had a sawed-off shotgun, and it had 2 boxes of ammunition to his .40 caliber pistol. And then he went in the house, and whenever he was in the house, he went straight into the basement, and he just barricaded himself in there for between 15, 16 hours, somewhere around there. And, over this course of time, the SWAT team from, the Highway Patrol, St. Charles, all of them, they're coming in and they are gassing the place. And he even makes note of it in his interview after the fact. He's like, yeah, they gassed the hell out of it. They even killed 3 cats. Like, there was so much gas that it killed 3 cats and he still didn't want to come out. Wow. So he was in there for 15 hours. He had 15 hours to think about what he wanted to say to the cops because he knows they're going to interview him. He later says that he was too much of a coward to take his own life. So he's trying to think of how can I spin this to where I'm not probably going to get the death penalty.
Right.
So he eventually comes out. When he comes out, he has the murder weapon and he tosses it down and they take him into custody.
And give us a little bit about Kenneth Simpson. What during the trial did they bring up what kind of guy he was, what kind of background he has, anything like that?
Yeah, so he was an upstanding citizen, as you can guess. He he went to prison when he was 17 for stealing a car. He had numerous drug charges. He was allegedly going to go to prison for 60 years for a bomb charge that he said that he had, just like aerosol cans that he blew up in his backyard. But they spun it to being bombs, and I don't know who told him 60 years because you can do some pretty heinous stuff, and they don't give you 60 years.
Right.
So but that was his mindset, but that was his own reality that he thought he was going to get 60 years for the stuff that he had already done.
Yes, okay. I don't know who told him or if he just made it up on his own, but he thought that he was going to be going to jail for 60 years.
What was he doing there? Did local cops know who he was?
I was going to ask that.
No, so actually they even had made a note during the trial where Kenneth Simpson was from Warren County. He did not frequent Hermann. He knew some people across the river. And there's a small little town called McKittrick. He knew some people there that he smoked some meth with, but he wasn't really familiar with Hermann. But earlier in the day, he was in New Haven, where I currently work. He had a friend pick him up. They went to the Hermann Inn where they smoked some meth, and then she left, and he just got hungry, and he decided to order some pizza.
Whose house did he hole up in?
So she claims that she didn't really know him very well, but she was.
She being the owner of the home?
Well, she was the daughter of the owner of the house, but she was at the trial every day on his side, so she was supporting him. So for not knowing him, she was a big fan. But anyway, so she claims that she didn't know him. Her sister did, but you know, as most of us know in that world, it's not exactly the most truthful kind of thing.
Right.
But no. So she knew that he was in the basement, and ultimately, if I remember correctly, someone in that house got a hold of somebody and said, "Hey, he's in the basement." That's how they found out he was in the basement.
Not that they weren't in there during the gassings.
No, they left. You know,
just left their cats in there.
Yeah, left the cats in there as soon as everybody showed up. Obviously, they left.
Now, how old is he?
He now is 37, 38.
Oh, he's not a young kid.
No, he's somebody that knows right from wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 37. I thought he would be a little more of a younger punk, but he's probably been a criminal for a long time.
Yeah, very long time. So when he got out of prison, like I said, he went in whenever he was 17. When he got out, he had 11 more charges since this incident. So he's obviously somebody that had not learned, will never learn. But going back to Casey's, though, so when Mason was shot and laying on the floor screaming for help, Adam, like I said, was in the hallway of the bathrooms and he was unconscious. The Casey's cashier that was supposed to call the police, that was asked to call the police, she went over to Adam and she testified in court, you know, because they're like, "Hey, why did you go over to Adam? You know, he looked dead." And she said, "Well, I guess she was a nursing student or something, but she said, when you're dying, when you die, your ears and your hearing are the last thing to go. And I didn't want him to be alone." So she went over there. She kept telling him, "You've got the warrior in you. You're going to make it," all this stuff. And she thought he was dead. She thought it was completely worthless in her mind, but she did not want him to be alone. Wow. And you see that on the body cam, and, you know, watching that, it's very emotional. You have other Casey's workers who I have personally arrested, and they're helping Mason. Like, there's not many people that just because they have a criminal record, if they see somebody hurting like that they're not going to help. Now, there are some, you know, people that just won't. Right. But, I mean, there was a couple that I had personally dealt with, and they're trying everything in their power to save Mason. That's cool. And so once Marlin, the chief of police in Hermann, and then Major Roger Armstrong, they pretty much showed up at the same time. It was almost like they were hanging out with each other, but they were in completely separate places, but you see them pull in at the same time. You know, they're trying to, you know, save these officers' lives. And, you know, the ambulance gets there. Ultimately, Mason does pass away pretty much on the way to the hospital. He went into cardiac arrest, never recovered from there. Adam did get on a helicopter, got emergency surgery in St. Louis. He overall, I believe he had like 7 surgeries, and he did his rehab in Colorado.
Hey, Chief, tell me about Mason's family. What was he married? Children?
Yes. So
Mom,
Mason,
dad around still, or
yeah. So Mason's mom, Fern, she has a boyfriend. I'm not familiar with his name, but I know Fern. So Fern's mom, she lives in Sullivan, Missouri, in the Sullivan, Missouri area. Jen Griffith is Mason's widow. They had a child together. His name is Carson Griffith. And then Mason came into Jen's life. She was a single mother. She had a 3-year-old named Trevor. I believe he was 3 at the time. And Mason just immediately took Trevor under his wing. He was going to be dad, you know, and they had talked about adoption. They just never got around to it. But Trevor did take Mason's last name. So,
cool.
yeah. So he has family. Mason, you know, he was somebody that even whenever he was, you know, 15, 16, he was doing explorers. He was doing ride-alongs. He was somebody that wanted to be a police officer. My dad was the captain at Union Police Department. I didn't care about being a cop. I was like, that's too much paperwork. Screw that. I'm going to be a gym coach at an elementary school or something. You know, just play dodgeball and hit kids. But I went a different path whenever 2007-ish, when the economy went, you know, to crap. And I was like, well, hell, I could do this because there's always going to be criminals. So I got into it, and then I ended up liking it. So I'm still in it. But that wasn't my path. His path was, from day one, he wanted to be in law enforcement.
police officer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
And talk a little bit about Adam and his family a little bit too.
So Adam is married to his wife, Michelle, and Michelle is a EMT at the New Haven Ambulance District. His mom, Verna, she lives pretty close, and I've
So
come
you
to
had
know
a
her.
Verna and a Fern.
A Verna and a Fern. Yep, yeah, Verna and a Fern.
Just,
So,
hey,
Only he picked up on that. Only, you know,
but
Vernon and a Fern.
But Adam's family and Mason's family, they were there every day of the trial. It was very telling to see. You know, I mean,
I can imagine.
for me, I used vacation and comp time to go. You know, these people, I don't know how they got, but they were able to go every day. Obviously, when a trial is 2 weeks, it was scheduled for 3 weeks, but Judge Hermann was able to knock it out in 2 weeks. And but no, Adam's family is, you know, obviously very supportive, and you know, their son. Make no mistake about it, Mason was killed. But Adam was also taken from us as well. Right. He'll never be the same. His mental well-being is not what it was. He doesn't have a voice. When he talks, he whispers. He can only get this loud. Like it's not like he has any volume to his voice. He can't sit here and converse. He knows, I believe he knows what you're saying, and he can answer you as long as it's an easy answer. Now, during the trial, and I'll get into this a little bit later, but during the trial, they showed a picture of Mason's funeral, and they asked him how he felt about that, and he said regret. Again, he's not making long statements, but he's able to speak and tell you how he feels.
He understands.
Yeah, he understands, yes. So in December, we had a PR event downtown in New Haven called Christmas by Moonlight or something like that. And so whenever he comes and works, he will go with me, all right? That way, if something does come out, the officers go handle it, and he's not put in a dangerous situation. That's one thing that I promised Michelle, was he was not going to be put in a dangerous situation. He
Not going on disturbance calls with him.
Yeah, he's not going to domestics. He's not doing any of that. So, but, you know, I asked him, I said, hey, Adam, you hungry? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you want? And he's like, a chili dog. So we went down to the food truck, and we got a chili dog. So he knows what he wants. He knows what to say. He just can't say it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's very...
His mind's there.
Yes, his mind is there. He's taken speech therapy. He does horse therapy. I believe on Tuesdays he does art therapy. Like, he does all these things to make him try to get us back to normal as possible. but he'll never be there. You know, and so it's set up.
Now, did he testify in court?
He did not testify during the like when they were trying to come up with the verdict stage, but in the sentencing phase, he did a victim impact.
And we'll get to that. But now let's go to the I save our audience from going through the tedious evidence that keeps coming and coming and coming. The verdict is?
The verdict is he was found guilty of first-degree murder.
How long did it take the jury?
About 4 hours.
4 hours?
About 4 hours. So we broke for recess at about 4:30. They came back with a verdict about 8:30.
How come it took 4 hours after seeing all the video to come with that?
Time for a word from our sponsors, JJ. If you need some serious security, who do you go to?
Personally, I would go when you're looking for real protection, not just a badge on a wall. Make the call to the Campbell Security Group, based right there in St. Louis. They're veteran-owned and powered by former law enforcement and military professionals, from executive protection to private air security. They got your back. Get a peace of mind when it matters most. Visit CampbellSecurityGroup.com or call 314-499-1121. Campbell Security Group, because safeguarding your world requires more than watchful eyes. It demands proven action.
Tommy, they have a lot of vehicles at Campbell Security Group. If they need repair, where are they heading to?
I'll tell you what, when your car needs real attention, brakes, diagnostic, tires, or full service, you want a shop you can trust. That's Fairway Automotive. 5 locations across the St. Louis area, all family run, all built on honest work and quality repair. Their certified techs don't guess. They diagnose, fix it right, and keep you safely on the road. Fairway backs every job with integrity and a hometown service that's harder to find these days. Visit fairwayautomotive.com to book your next appointment. Fairway Automotive, where it's not just done the right way, it's done the fair way.
Well, I wasn't in the room, obviously. The defense tried to paint this as a picture of panic, emotion, drugs, and they said that there was no deliberation. So murder first wouldn't be on the table. They even said in their opening argument, he's guilty of murder. It's murder second, though. It's not murder first. And the definition of deliberation is any cool reflection for any length of time, no matter how short. It's not you have to sit and think about it for 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 hours. It's any amount of time, no matter how short. And the way that the prosecutors did is, or presented it, I should say, is his first act was the argument. He was arguing about who he was. He knew he was going to jail. He even said that later on. He knew he was going to jail. The second was his gun jammed. He had the mindset and the wherewithal to unjam his gun. All right. If you're wanting to get away, if you're not wanting to go to jail, then run out the freaking door. You're right there. But no, you unjammed your gun.
Conscious decision.
And then what did you do? You took a shooting stance, you gripped your gun, and you fired 5 more shots and then ran out the door. So the prosecutor's office for the AG did a phenomenal job at trying this case, and it was awesome.
I'm assuming he had a public defender.
Yeah.
No?
So in any capital murder case,
They spent some money.
They spend some money, and his defense team was an interesting crew. The main defense guy, I believe his name was Steven. He actually did pretty decent. I mean, there's really no argument. The argument's off the table. It's not, did he kill him? No, he killed him.
Hey, Chief, were there defense witnesses?
Yeah. So the character.
He doesn't sound good about that.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
The character
Let's
witnesses.
hear about these guys.
Yeah. So
What was me character?
yeah, the character witnesses were interesting characters. The one of them wore a black shirt with a big pot leaf on it and a bunch of pot leaves on it.
Unbelievable.
To court, and yes, weed is legal, but I'm not wearing my Busch Light shirt to the trial either. Like you've got to use some common sense. That's not really in the world today.
Not a good look.
No, and then the next day.
Now, did you happen to glance at him when his star witness pops out with the weed shirt on?
No, he actually
You're just like, hey, man, here goes my guy. Here goes my guy.
This is my guy.
I don't know this to be a fact because the defense obviously won't talk to me, but he didn't get to testify that day. They ran a little long, and he conveniently didn't get to testify. So the next day he had to come back. Well, he was dressed in
More appropriate.
clothes, but he still had his Ninja Turtle Crocs on. So he was interesting.
Crack pipe T-shirt.
Yeah, well, and every one of the witnesses, they would get up there. They would get up there and they would, talk. Okay, how do you know Kenneth Simpson? Well, we used to smoke meth together. Okay, well, that's a great start. So we're already, hitting home runs here, and it was very rough to watch, honestly. And if I'm him, I'm thinking, I would rather just nobody be on that side. But
nobody met him at the 2002 National Spelling Bee.
Yeah, no, he may have been trying to go to junior college the next month, but it wasn't.
Nothing wrong with junior college.
No,
all right, JJ. No, with junior college.
But no, the witnesses that came, they really, this is just my opinion, but in my opinion, it did not help at all. Because the jury's watching this and it's like, okay, the defense team has a lot of money in a capital murder case. You're putting them up in hotels, send them to freaking Goodwill and have them look like a grandma or grandpa. Don't let them dress themselves. They are obviously not capable of that. You do that for them. Make them look as presentable as possible. But whenever I have more pieces of gum in my pocket than they do teeth, that's an issue. And you can't have them. No, you can't have them on the stand talking about, we smoked meth together. That's not a positive thing for the jury. Now, I'm not saying the jury took anything into that. I didn't talk to them, but you need to put as good of a presence as possible. And they did not.
I'm thinking maybe they in deep down they're like, they go through the motions maybe.
Yeah.
They do a good job going through the motions, but deep down they know they got a loser.
Yeah.
So
the
why
defense
bother?
attorney?
Question.
Yeah.
Oh, the attorney,
Without
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
No.
I thought you were talking about the witnesses.
No,
Like, man, why you
the
call it me?
defense- no, defense-
But the witnesses are probably the same. Why you call me, man? This guy killed a guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted you to get into, Chris, and I found this very, very interesting, was Adam testified in a different way in the sentencing portion.
Yeah. So Adam, so everybody testified as far as family members. So Michelle got out there and testified, Adam's wife, did a phenomenal job. Obviously a very emotional time, but she did a phenomenal job. Jen, Mason's widow, got up there, phenomenal job. Again, very hard for her, but great job.
Jeez.
The parents, everybody that got up there, the friends of Mason, everybody, they did a great job. But when Adam got up there, Adam, again, he can't really converse. So they wrote out a statement. Adam, knew what he wanted to say, wrote out a statement. He went up there, he's, wearing his suit, he's looking sharp. He stands up when they call his name. He kind of pulls it down, I'm hot stuff.
Damn right I am.
And, I'm Officer
I'm
Hottie.
still
Here,
hot
let's go do
stuff.
this.
I'm still hot.
Yeah, so he walks up there and he does it, and he starts to read, and he says, Kenneth Simpson, you hurt me. And then he stops, and he's looking in the direction of Kenneth Simpson. And he stops. Well, the prosecutor doesn't know if he's stopping because he's emotional or, what's going on. Well, Adam, he doesn't continue. So they ask the judge and the defense, hey, are you okay if Michelle comes up here and kind of help him? Because Adam is somebody that if you get him started, then he can go. But sometimes you just have to kind of give him a little,
freezes a little bit.
a little push. And so, she'd stand up there and be like, what's this? And so ultimately his statement was something to the effect of, Kenneth Simpson, you hurt me. You disrespected Mason and I when you shot us. And then my life has changed forever. You took my independence, or something like that. It was something very brief. But whenever he said that, it was just very powerful, because a lot of people didn't think that he could read, speak, anything like that. And whenever he made his statement, the jury, you could just tell that they were like, this guy had everything taken from him. Right. He is not the same person. And whenever he is reading, you see, Simpson's leg bouncing, and there's no real coming back from that. He knew what was going to happen, or had a pretty good idea, I should say. I think he still had out hope, but it didn't turn out for him.
And this was under Attorney General Hanaway. And who were the two prosecutors again?
It was Greg and Tristan. And Attorney General Hanaway was there one of the days.
Yeah.
She was actually sitting out in the stands, if you will, with the next one over from me. She didn't ever try it or try to go sit up there with the prosecutor. She was just out in the viewing range.
Yeah.
But no, she was there. But Greg and Tristan were the two prosecutors on the case. So Andrew Bailey was actually supposed to do it before he then took the job in Washington, because I had talked to him at MNOA. It's a drug conference down in Springfield, and he was one of the guest speakers, and I talked to him after, and I kind of talked to him about it, and he was saying how he was gonna be the one that has to, I don't know if he was gonna be the main one, part one, I don't know how that worked, but he was gonna be involved, and so whenever he took over that, then somebody stepped in. I don't know which one, but one of them did.
That's great.
They did a great job, it sounds like.
Now, since the unfortunate incident with Mason is Mason's wife and her mother have started the Mason Griffith Foundation.
Yes. Yeah. So the Mason Griffith Foundation, I mean, I don't remember how soon after they started it, but they started out pretty quick, and they take care of, first responders. So if Backstoppers is involved, then they don't want to step on any toes. But pretty much they take over if Backstoppers isn't involved, because Backstoppers isn't everywhere. Right. So they take over, and they have a website. And if you go to that website, they have I want to make sure I get this right, but they have Partners in Hope, and you can sign up for that on their website, the ChiefMasonGriffithFoundation.org, and they can you can set it up for like a $10 donation every month, or whatever it is. They also have some upcoming events. One's the canine competition at Purina Farms there in Grace Summit, and that's October 18th and 20th. Rosebud Safety Day in April, and that's at the Rosebud Park. Blues, Bags, and Barbecue, and that's this fall. They haven't come up with a date. And then the Christmas Trees for Heroes. That's just some of them, but all their list of events are on their website. But when they have these events, then obviously you can donate to to help first responders.
But one of the things too is, now this is going to be completely unrelated to any of this, but when we first had you on, you had just became the chief of New Haven.
Yes. Yeah, I was on for 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
How's that going?
Well, so whenever I was here, yeah.
Dude,
I will tell you, it has been great. Like, whenever I worked at Franklin County before I took this job, there was a lot of, do I want to do this? Because the department had disbanded. All right, so you had
New Haven.
New Haven had disbanded. There was nobody there, so they were trying to find a chief and then go from there. So whenever I had talked to a lot of people, I had talked to Sheriff Pelton, I had talked to my dad. Like I said, he was a captain at Union. I had talked to several people, and is this the right thing? Because I'm going to have to start something from the ground up. And ultimately, it came down to, yes, what's more rewarding than building something from the ground 100%. Up? And so I met with, obviously I had my interview, I met with the city council, and, I asked for two things. I asked for an updated pay scale, because our department was the second to last paid department in Franklin County. Now we are the third highest paid in Franklin County. Sure. We pay years for service, 1 year for 1 year, not half your years of service. If you have 15 years, you get paid for 15 years. And that has brought in quality, not just
You're talking
quantity.
about reciprocal. So if somebody has 15 years somewhere else, they come into you as 15 years.
Correct. They start off at that level.
Hey, can I come work for you as a lieutenant?
Absolutely. Yeah, you come on. We don't have one, but we can create that position.
We don't have one, but you're it.
Yeah, you can name yourself whatever. I mean, I don't care.
Not chief.
No, I don't be chief.
I don't know. Some days you can.
It just go with
Make me a major.
Just go with
Just give me a major.
You can have him, chief.
But so whenever I took over, I knew that I would have obviously troubles, because nobody's fully staffed, and so there's staffing shortages everywhere. So you're obviously pulling from where somebody else wants to pull from as well. Right. Chad Johnmeyer, he's my assistant chief. He comes with 30 years of law enforcement, EMT, and fire. Chris Keckler, he comes with 17 years. He was a detective at his last department. He gave up Monday through Friday, nights and weekends off, to be a basic patrolman. And Brett Holmes, he comes with 5-6 years experience. He was a sergeant at his previous department. And all these people, they're coming in because I tell them what my vision is, what I want New Haven to be. And that is, we're going to be community oriented, kind of like your previous guest. We are going to, be in the schools. We are going to do community PR events. However, if you screw up, I have no problem taking you to the Palace on Bruns. You can go sit in jail while we figure things out. I'm not going to have you come make our town, which is mainly the older community, and turn it into this dumpster fire that you want. If you want to do drugs outside of my zip code, I don't care what you do.
Right.
But don't come there and do it. And there's some people that have found out that they need to play by the rules, otherwise they're going to get talked to. And then there's some that just can't figure it out, and they're almost to their 10th punch card where they get a free bicycle. So it's one of those things where they just have to eventually figure it out, or they're going to have a lot of stays in their reward club. And then we also, not to forget the other officers, but we have David Cox, he's brand new officer, and Virginia Howard, she's brand new officer, both of which got into law enforcement later in life. New Haven's kind of their speed. They don't need the, they don't need the
mobile reserve stuff.
No, they don't need to be in St. Louis, but they do well for what New Haven
Absolutely.
is. It is a town of 2,400 people. It is not a booming metropolis by any stretch of the imagination.
Sounds like
but
paradise.
we still
And
have
And
our
I think
stuff.
that's something important as a show. We're all about recruitment and all this other. Not every policeman, and no matter what department, is to go out and charge. Go out and lock up every felon in the area. There are policemen that are very, very functional and very, very needed that just do the job.
Correct.
Just they answer radio calls. They're there every day.
Yes.
They care, but they're not out, making 12 felony arrests a month.
Correct.
But they're just out doing what they're supposed to do.
100%. And I don't ask anybody at the department to do anything that I don't do. I had over 600 traffic stops last year. I had over 40 arrests. I don't sit at
whoa.
That's more than that
Wait,
he
wait.
ever did in his
You
prime.
personally do?
me personally.
You're chief, dude.
Yeah, no, I know, but I can't. I
These are the
can't
guys
sit
who
still.
don't like.
But again,
Hey, I can't come work for you.
but like you.
I rescind my offer.
You're way too aggressive for me.
No, I take that back.
aggressive.
No, but like you mentioned, I can't have 7 traffic officers in New Haven. The town would implode. You can't do that.
Right.
But Chris Keckler, he specializes in internet crimes against children. So that is what he focuses on. 4 days after him being there, we did a search warrant on a house, and we got over 2,500 images and videos of child pornography. Those 2 people are locked up right now.
That's right.
And
That is
he's not out there making traffic stops. He very rarely makes traffic stops, but I don't care. He's still out there doing productive work for the citizens of New Haven. Brett Holmes, same thing. Now he's more traffic oriented. He likes to get drugs. Hey, awesome, cool. Virginia, she is somebody out there that's making traffic stops. David, he's not more into the traffic stops. He's more into the community relations and talking to people. So you have many
They have their
different
niche.
Yes,
And that's what
exactly.
you have to do as a
That's what
police
you have to do as a police officer.
100%.
Figure out where you fit in.
Find your niche and be the best at it.
Yes, and that's what we have, and the city as a whole, I would say probably 95% is totally happy that we're back. When a department disbands, chances are the community isn't really thrilled with them. So for us to turn our relationship with the community around it speaks volumes for the officers that we have. They have been out there, they have been in the schools, they have been talking to people in businesses. Again, I'm not asking you to make 20 traffic stops a shift. Go be seen, and that's what they are doing. And the community appreciates that. We have the backing from our alderman, from our mayor, from our city administrator. I don't have any issues. They knew how I was coming in because I told them during my interview. I'm not exactly the person that you probably want making your public relations statements. But they knew that going in. And so they know how I am, and we get the job done, and people appreciate what we do. But before we get too far away from the trial, I do want to bring up that Mr. Simpson, when he was in jail, they have this thing called Home Wave. It's like a FaceTime kind of thing.
Right.
But when he was in jail, there was some other gentleman, I believe he was a Fed inmate, and he was FaceTiming or home waving his I don't know, girlfriend, baby mama, whatever it is. And Simpson was behind him, and they were talking about the shooting, and he, flexed and said, beast mode, fuck the pigs. Yeah, I did that. Well, when they played that in
tough guy.
court, it did not go well. There was a lot
for him.
of, I can't believe he did that. And I don't think that at the time he knew he was being recorded.
Right.
And that wasn't very smart of him. But the prosecutor's office, how I said they always were a step ahead of the defense. The defense wanted to say there was a different Kenneth Simpson. One, when he was on meth, he was an angry, agitated man. And then when he was off meth, he was this angel. And the prosecutor played that video and said, this man's not on meth. He hasn't been on meth for 2 years in this
He's
video.
hard to defend.
And he is still doing this. And when he did that, that was the nail in the coffin for him.
100%.
And that was a pretty powerful day when they played all those videos.
Okay.
Wow.
So sentencing's in June?
June 12th, I believe, is the formal sentencing. He was last Friday. They did the jury unanimously came back and said the death penalty, but formal sentencing will be June 12th, I believe.
And before we let Chris go, I want to suggest if you need somebody to follow on Facebook, Chris is a good follow.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, and that's why I was looking at my phone for anybody that was watching. And I
I thought it was being disrespectful.
I wanted
but now
to
I
pull
know
it.
why.
I wasn't being. I just got.
Yeah, so
I don't know. This is one of Chris's. This is one of Chris's recent posts. This is 12 hours ago. He says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but ripping your temp tag in half to hide the expired date doesn't make me think, oh, that's probably a valid temp tag.
Yeah. So, my dad, like I said, he retired as a captain in Union. He's more of the old school where you gotta be serious. So whenever I post, I know that I take seconds off his life.
So you don't bounce things off him first?
No. I would never get approval. But it's in my opinion, and like on our Facebook page, I like to have fun. The world sucks. You can smile. I promise you can laugh and have a good time,
Right.
but still be professional.
Right.
And there are people out there in law enforcement that aren't thrilled with our department's page because we have serious, but we also have funny.
Oh.
And the thing is that I tell them, if you post all serious stuff, you will never get anybody viewing your page. They won't read everything.
Right.
But what I do is I may post a funny picture, but with a serious caption, or a funny caption with a serious photo, just to get a point across. Because if I post a photo, then they may be looking in that photo like, oh, what did he plant in here? As far as, for instance, when we had the snow a couple weeks ago, I put, I don't know, some character from Ice Age and, penguins and all kinds of crap in it. And, but the thing is, like, I had somebody come to me in Casey's where he said, I don't like law enforcement. I don't respect you guys. Don't like you guys at all. But you post in a sense of, I feel like I can come talk to you because you're human. You're not a robot. You're not, you just don't come off like a jackass. You are human, and I feel like I can talk to you. He's like, I'm never going to respect your position, but I feel like I could talk to you. And we have people that will come and give us information that you would never in a million years think that they give you information. But again, they know that they can talk to us because we're just human and we're out there. And so I tell people, you can be fine. And whenever the old ladies at the care center tell me they like my Facebook, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I tell you what, well, I'll say one thing. New Haven hired the right chief.
Well,
They did.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
We really appreciate you coming on and and we're going to have you back on.
Hey, that's fine with me.
Because
preferably during police week.
It's
when you
because
guys go
what's
out there.
good is for those that don't know is we already had an interview, so Chris's interview is probably going to be a week or a week later than this. But when Chris had to sit through an entire interview, and you're probably going to be after Kyle, so Kyle was pretty fucking good, buddy.
He was really good. I mean, listening to him, it kind of reminded me of me, and I was like, well, hell, I'm gonna have to
You
take
that
notes.
can't say everything that he
Can't say it to the extent of what he did. Yes,
right.
yes, but no, I mean, just some of his stories of what he gets to experience and what he's done over his career of not even being in law enforcement, but speaking about law enforcement was powerful to watch. And
Not being a policeman too. Not
Yeah.
But you guys don't understand. And just for our audiences, for those that aren't policemen, you guys just don't. I don't know that anybody understands how much that means to us when people that are not in law enforcement support us.
100%.
And you know, after the 9/11, you know, when you walk into somebody and people would buy you, I mean, just thank you.
Right.
And it doesn't need to be like that. That's not what I'm saying.
You know, I didn't say it earlier when Kyle did the first interview.
Go ahead and start your thought before I finish mine.
I thought you were done, actually.
Like interrupting.
Right.
No, go ahead.
Edgeworth.
Welcome to the JJ Show.
People have, since even Michael Brown, all that stuff went down. We still go into restaurants. People thank us for a service. Grocery stores, thank you for your service. And I can't tell you how many times people, when we go to pay our bill, say, hey, someone already paid it. And they don't even want an acknowledgement for it. So there's the majority of the people in this country love
I
police
agree.
department.
Yeah.
And the loudmouths, they hate us. They hate us. And
They're just louder.
Right,
And
they're just
they get
loud.
on
And they're
social
the
media.
minority.
Yeah, it's the silent
minority.
minority that supports us.
100%.
But
Yeah.
we need to, and hopefully our podcast can help get that word out there. But and Chris, we really appreciate you coming on again.
Hey,
and
I
once
appreciate
you
having
come
telling
back,
your story.
he
Appreciate it.
drove in here for like an hour. Right? How far are you away? An hour?
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was about 55 minutes, so just
All right.
just shy of
Hey,
an hour.
next time we're coming to your place to do a podcast.
That's fine with me. Yeah, you come out there, we can have it at Picnic Bin,
There you go.
the distillery out there.
Oh,
Well, that's-
I'm there. Can we do it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm available. So,
all right, Chris. Thank you, sir.
hey,
brother.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man.
hey, it was a great job.
Wow. You're right.
I told you.
Yeah, that was
He's
powerful.
passionate, and Chris is such a good guy. And I said it in the interview, but he's a great follow on Facebook. You know, he's funny, but he also, you know, and then he has the New Haven one. But he you know, you can tell when he's on his own one, he uses his little humor a little bit more. He's more professional on the New Haven one. But
100%.
But Chris is a great guy, and we appreciate
New
his.
Haven and hang out with them. Do the
Find a
cool one
dive
wire.
bar in New Haven.
Oh, I'd love to.
Producer John probably knows 6 dive bars in New Haven.
Have you ever been to a bar in New Haven, John?
Absolutely.
I will soon.
We'll see.
I'll go anywhere.
Hey, we are a grassroots podcast up to almost 97.8 million followers, impressions. New word I learned from Tommy. It starts with you liking, subscribing, and sharing. We calculate that. We need that. We're going to grow this podcast and go nationwide, worldwide, like I say. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We are, I'm supporting USA. Producer John's supporting his USA. It is the Olympic time.
Damn it,
is-
I should have worn mine.
I miss Mama Howard because she would never miss all day long. She said this is the one time a year she doesn't want any kids to visit. She just sit there and
No
watch
shit.
the Olympics from start to finish. And she said, I'm not lonely. I'm not bored. You don't need to visit. You'd only be bothering me. I want to
That's
watch
awesome.
the Olympics. But
Curling the whole bit. She was in
all of it. She just absolutely loved it. She had all the channels going, and it was unbelievable. So, and if you were a parent of a kid in the Olympics, how proud you would be representing the country and little Nick Saraceno
Well,
representing
and
Italy.
I'll tell you what, we and Chuck mentioned that on the
Yeah.
last show, and we put it out, and it went crazy, and then we got a message saying, Joy Dunn
Yeah.
is a local kid, and she plays on them. And I didn't know. I don't pay attention to
That depth. Yeah.
No.
to the hockey like that. So I just quickly looked her up, and I was like, good Lord. She comes from the Dunn family, and the Dunn family has tremendous St. Louis tradition. Her grandfather, Tom Dunn, and we'll hear a little bit more about how producer John might have a link to Tom Dunn, but he is he started out as a grunt with the Fred Weber construction people, worked his way all the way up, and he made Fred Weber in what it is today.
Wow.
Kid.
Well, that's the grandfather. Well, then, you got Tom and Tammy, Tom the son, and then his wife, Tammy. They had 6 kids. They had Jessica, Jinsey, Josh, Josie, James, and Joy. Joy is the youngest.
They all start with J.
Jay.
They're all 9
I
years.
like that.
All 6 of them are 9 years apart total. All of them elite hockey players.
Are you serious?
All of them elite hockey players. The 2 sisters, the older sisters, both went to Ohio State and played hockey. Joy is now at Ohio State and plays hockey. Her sister Jinsey was on the last U.S. Olympics team. Her brother Josh was in the NHL. They all played at this high level of hockey, obviously. Joy is just ripping it up at Ohio State. I mean, ripping it up. She's played like 70 games and got 140
Hey, how many
points.
in that household growing up? How often did they have shit broken?
Oh yeah,
See, I was going to say,
no valuable crystal anymore.
No, dude, their
hockey
windows
players,
broken.
they ain't right to begin with. They just ain't right.
The salt
many
of the earth. What are you
teethuses
talking
do
about?
they
They're
have?
salt of the earth.
No, they're the salt of the earth,
Right.
but they ain't right. You know hockey
tough.
players.
They're
You
tough.
know goddamn
Oh,
well
yeah.
they ain't right.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of friends that are hockey players. They ain't right.
Placky's out there.
Right?
That
See?
is-
Then there
the
goes
guy in the
one
back.
of them.
Are you arguing, Placky?
He surely isn't right.
Exhibit A. Exhibit A.
What's that finger mean?
Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, you're a
Plackey's
business
here.
guy now. Come on.
You don't want to bicker about the price on the sticker. Head on down to Chicker, where you get the best deal quicker.
Now sit down, Placky.
Yes.
Put that finger back.
Yeah. Sit down, Exhibit A. But yes. Could you imagine? I mean,
No.
people that
crazy.
play at it, they all played at extremely high levels.
That's wild.
In the minors and all the stuff they do. And athletes have that intent. Athletes that play at this level have a different kind of intensity.
100%.
Could you imagine 6 of them within 9 years running
Now,
around one house?
where does she rank in the family tree?
The youngest. She's
The
20
youngest.
years old.
The youngest are always the best athletes. in
Well,
the
that's
family.
because they got their ass kicked by this. She probably
100%.
took some good
I
beats.
was the
I'm
youngest.
the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
There you go. Hey,
It's solved.
That's it.
It's settled.
right. All right.
That's an amazing story.
That
you
is
know,
awesome.
So let me ask you, the mother's name again
Tammy,
and the father's name?
Tom.
So how proud would they have been if their boy who was in a high level would win a medal and then break down crying on the medal stand, declaring to the world that he met, met a girl 6 months ago, fell in love with her, she's the love of his life, but then 3 months ago he cheated on her, and now she dumped him, and now he's on the podium getting a bronze medal in the Olympics.
Did you see this?
No.
You didn't see this?
No, I'm busy, man. I work.
Dude, he met her 6 months ago. Love of his life. He's being interviewed for getting a bronze medal for what's the country?
I don't know. I don't.
It's Norway or not Norway. It's something. And
Thank God it's not USA.
it's not.
No
And they're
kidding.
interviewing him. He's bronze medal. And he's like, well. But it's a terrible time. I met the love of my life 6 months ago, and then 3 months ago I cheated on her. Worst decision of my life, and now she's not here for me. And took
I
that.
want her
platform.
back.
Oh,
And then
my God.
broke out
How
crying.
pathetic is he?
Oh, so now he's saying now
I mean, what the heck?
Now
dude?
3 days have gone and it hasn't aged well, and he's getting abused by it, and his parents are probably mortified.
Oh, I mean-
so now he says, "I'm not taking any more questions about that. I shouldn't have said it. I'm out of my mind."
I'm
Well,
embarrassed.
you think?
I'm embarrassed
He got,
for him.
he got shook by. Hopefully, he had.
dude, crocodile tears.
Yeah.
and
What
you
is
know,
It was a plea for her back. He used it for a plea to get her back.
Where's his self-respect? He's weak.
he didn't have it, but along with
He ain't no hockey player.
He's no hockey player. Kenny
Well,
Plackey.
to add to the Dunn story is not only is Joy playing in this Olympics, is the brother's girlfriend. She's on Canada's team.
Jesus.
Oh, that's awesome.
They got some shit going on in the Dunn family.
Unbelievable.
That'd be awesome.
How
if they
much?
make the
I mean, I would think that Tom and Tammy Dunn probably could have bought an ice rink with the money they've spent on the kids.
Yeah.
They-
They would have
the
saved
parents
money.
must have-
They could have just bought an ice rink.
They definitely must have had good jobs.
Right.
And they don't sleep because those hockey practices are like 5 in the morning.
it's
A
crazy.
friend of mine used to put his kid in half in the practice gear, hockey gear, to bed because he had to rip him out of bed like 4:45 in the morning to get to the
Hey,
rinks.
I've been
that
there,
Dunn
brother.
family didn't
I
sleep.
think I read too, and one of the things is that possibly all 4 sisters played on the same team at one time.
That's a good thing. They
Well,
don't practice
the
same
other
time.
one's 9 years younger, so maybe it was 3 of them, because the oldest is Jessica, and then Joy is the youngest, and she's 29, and Joy's 20.
Well, look at St. Louis representing
Well, we got the Kachucks too now.
Kachucks?
Don't forget about the Kachuk brothers.
Kachuk, Saraceno, Duns.
Clayton
I
Keller.
think actually I heard that we're going
Plackies.
to have them all on after they win the
Right.
gold medal.
We'll just call it the Olympic show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Well, they
everybody's
can't
just
all-
like, hey, man,
They can't
we
all
got to
win the
get
gold
back to the
medal.
brighter side of blue.
Italy's,
Oh, Canada. Yeah.
and then USA, and then
The Olympians. We'll have it the Olympians.
Yeah,
We'll have them all.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
be
not
all right.
cool enough that you're just an Olympian. We got to have you winning gold medals to get on our
At
show.
least one of them should.
Tommy, do you want to give a little brief summary of what we got coming up with the new DTF
Yes, we are going to, with DTF St. Louis coming out, we are
on
going,
HBO Max?
HBO Max, DTF St. Louis, Jason Bateman. What was the show Jason Bateman was in back in the day?
Ozarks?
Family Ties. wasn't
No,
it?
Family Ties.
No, that was Michael J. Fox.
Wasn't Family
No,
Ties?
his sister was in. Justine Bateman
Yes.
was in one of those.
But he was in one, wasn't he?
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember him.
She was for sure.
Whatever. But anyway,
Who cares?
is
Good
DTF
talk.
St. Louis. He's one of the characters. It's about crime and St. Louis and dating scene and apps and dating apps and
It's a dark
And,
comedy, though. It's not. It's
dark
not-
comedy.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun. But we're going to do a show. We're going to do our normal show that'll come out on Mondays, but we're also going to do an additional show that'll come out on Tuesdays after every episode of DTF St. Louis, and we'll just be breaking it down. We've got a new employee, a new member of the team that we will be introducing next week, and it's a she. It's a she. She's a she.
She is she.
She's a she. It's a she.
She is
That's
she.
wrong. That was wrong. But anyway, we're looking forward to that. We'll talk about more about that next week, and we'll be doing the preview show next week. So that's going to be fun. We're looking
gonna
forward
be-
about that.
That's going to be hilarious. Producer John,
Yes.
wake up.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Are you sitting on a musings at the microphone over
Hold
there?
on. Before we get to the musings, can we do one thing? As
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
said that the Duns, that John had a relation to the Duns. John, can you
That might have
tell
been
us
his
your
musings.
relationship to the Duns and how you got involved with the Dunn family at one point? in
Yeah,
time?
it's very remote. But 30 years ago, Joy and the rest of his grandmother had bought a brand new BMW. It needed to be driven down to Naples, Florida. So this was Christmas night. So Tom Malachek, the Checkster, who's on all the time, and Damon Cross, another good friend of ours, he hasn't been on the show yet. They asked Tom if he would drive the car down to Naples, and then they would fly us back. We'd just drive down in one way. So like 10 o'clock or midnight on Christmas Day, we get in this brand new BMW, had like 30 miles on it, and we take off to Naples. Well, Malachek's driving, we're flying, and we want to get down there, and we're driving through Kentucky, and we get pulled over.
Time for a quick word from our sponsors. Remember, listeners, you can go buy a Ford from many places, but when you buy it from Schicker Ford of St. Louis, you get a car and a family. The service after the sale is second to none. They've been huge supporters of law enforcement for over 60 years. You get the same treatment if you visit Schicker Jeep Chrysler Dodge in Washington, Missouri. So,
When you don't want to bicker about the price on the sticker, head on down to Schicker, where you get the best deal quicker.
Now, where the heck do you bring that car when you first get it?
What I would do is you got to unwind afterwards, and whenever you want to unwind after a shift, buying a car, or just a good night out, you head to Columbo's Cafe and Tavern in Dogtown, St. Louis, where craft brews are on tap. Solid pub grub, a vibe that says real people, real stories. Near the heart of St. Louis, bring your squad or just bring your appetite. Located on Manchester in historic Dogtown, Columbo's is where community roots meet good times. Visit columbosstl.com or drop in tonight. Tell them the brighter side of blue sent you. Columbo's, for people who work hard and play harder.
Who knows how.
doing fast.
Tommy's driving. We get pulled over by the trooper from Kentucky, a little wiry, sharp guy, kind of a redneck guy, and
Jeez, John.
he comes walking up and he goes, "You boys going pretty fast there." And Tom's like, "Hey, sir, right away, we're all policemen from St. Louis, if that matters at all. We're just trying to get this car down to Florida." So he takes Tom's license and takes all the information, and he goes back to the car. And so we're sitting there like, "Oh man, I hope he doesn't like impound the car and and lock us all up, So he comes back and he goes, all right, you boys can leave. He goes, being you, policeman from St. Louis, because I'm gonna let you go. Just slow it down. He starts to walk away, and all of a sudden he turns around and walks back and goes, hey, by the way, how much do they pay you fellers in St. Louis? And Tom's like, no, it's not our car. We're just driving it for somebody.
Okay.
Does Mr. Dunn know you got pulled over in his BMW?
Right.
No, but
Or the check was doing 130.
he did notice that we sideswiped the truck on the way.
Yeah, that was obvious. Yeah. Well, was that your musings at the microphone, or do you actually have a
But
musing?
I got a question on that.
Go ahead.
Yes.
What was the connection? Why the Duns? They must have been doing well. That they were connected.
Well, yeah,
to
they wanted some policemen to drive the car down, and
I know,
so they
but
could
why
trust-
you guys? What was their connection
Oh,
to the hockey?
they just got a hold of Check. Well, Check's the governor, goddamn it.
Check and
I mean, but who
I
the
think-
hell are the Duns at that point?
They-
They
You
own
know-
Fred Weber, dude.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
no,
Well, you must not have listened when I told the whole story of the grandfather.
No, I did not. It was. Oh,
And that was the grandfather's wife.
Oh,
Thomas Dunn Sr. was
I did hear
the
that-
CEO
all
of
right.
Fred Weber.
Maybe not.
And I
That's
think
a
the
good time for the tech story.
Yeah. Well, hey, John, we're going to pause the producer to microphone because Tommy and I are on the same
I missed that
same
small, I
wavelength.
missed that small part of it.
So for our listeners and
Can't remember all that.
around the world, you have to hear this story. We actually had an official Brighter Side of Blue meeting here yesterday, and we had 6 of us at the table, and we were digging into some Brighter Side of Blue business, and it was going really well. And JJ obviously didn't want to interrupt the meeting, so he picks up his phone.
He got a message from somebody.
Got a message from him. He picks up his phone and he says out loud in front of all us, "In a meeting, can't talk. We'll text. We'll call later." That's
Wasn't
pretty-
that detailed?
No, it was in a meeting, can't talk. We'll text later. And that's the whole purpose of
But
the
that's
text
what
message.
text was made for.
So you can-
call you back.
And with your thumbs. With
Actually,
your thumbs.
it's got the predetermined. Can I call you later?
Yeah, you can just press that with
Oh, you
one
do?
thumb.
They
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Did you know that? You
No.
can just.
You don't have
That's
to
an
say
option.
anything. Just press.
Can I call you later?
Never seen that part.
But
Obviously.
JJ always uses voice to text, and you'll get some of the craziest texts from him.
Oh, yeah.
And you just know
He's gotta decide.
he mumbling again.
You gotta decide.
Him and Siri, he's just mumbling to Siri. Hey, what's up, Dewey?
He
I'm getting way better at
He
it.
disrupted the entire meeting, and Tommy goes, at this point, you should have just taken
You guys
the
don't
phone
let the
call."
truth get in. That's bullshit.
What was it? What were we going to say? We don't let
Don't
the
get
truth
the truth get in the way of a good story.
Okay.
It's BS, dude.
It's not BS. We were all sitting there.
Did you voice the text in the middle of a meeting?
I did. I said,
Okay.
I'll call you right back. I was done.
Yeah, it's very slick, JJ.
Producer John, now you
No, go,
music
John.
to the microphone.
Hurry the fuck up.
Sorry,
Yeah, we're
John.
trying to
I'm
wrap
not.
this-
You guys, you spent too much time talking about that.
I just had some questions because this has been a long night.
Yeah,
No,
you got a
no
lot.
questions.
All right.
I'm going to talk about Walter Carr.
Oh, fuck.
Big Walt.
Walter.
No, not about Walter, but just.
All right, here's the story. I'll make it quick.
JJ knows a car.
Walter lives in Birmingham, Alabama. He's 20 years old. This happened in 2018.
Okay.
Walter gets a job at a moving company, and his first day is the next day, but his car breaks down the day before.
Problem.
He gets a hold of a bunch of his friends. Nobody can take him to this. He has to go meet the crew at the homeowner's place. So Walter he looks at it. He goes, "It's a 20-minute drive, but it's a 7.5-hour walk." Walter has no way of getting there, so he leaves his house at midnight and starts walking to this next town to go meet the crew because he doesn't want to get fired because it's his first day. Walter's a college student. Walter's he's a good kid. So he takes off walking 3:00 in the morning. He's partway there. He's halfway there. Police officer sees this guy walking down Highway 280 by himself, middle of the night. Says, "Son, why are you out here?" He said, "Officer, it's my first day of work. I got a 7-hour walk. I'm just trying to get there so I don't get fired." Officer says, "When was the last time you ate?" He says, "Well, it's been quite a while." So this officer, let's see his name, Mark Knighton from the Pelham, Alabama Police Department, picks him up, calls a couple of his buddies. They take him to Whataburger and buy him breakfast. They also tell him go ahead and buy lunch too, so you have something to eat tomorrow when you have lunch. So they get them something to go. So now it's like 4 in the morning. Well, it's too early for him. They can't take him to the people's house because it's too early. So they take him to a church. They drop Walter off. Walter sits there for a few hours, and this other copper who comes on like on the day watch is supposed to pick him up and take him the rest away. Well, Walter had already taken off. The policeman does find him on the way, picks him up, takes him to the homeowner's house. Well, the homeowners are up, they're packing because they're moving that day, obviously. So the homeowner, this gal named Jenny Lamy, it doesn't sound, it sounded kind of weird, Lamy, but Lamey.
That's a great name.
I didn't even think of it till I just said it. So anyway, she's like, hey man, he's there like an hour before the crew's supposed to be there. So she goes, hey, you've been up all night. He explains it. She goes, just take a nap or a rest. He goes, no, well, he sits there and helps him pack. Crew gets there. This gal's so impressed by Walter that she puts it out on Facebook that about this kid walked all night, blah, blah, blah. Well, it goes viral like immediately. Well, the owner of the company that he works for sees the post. Well, he comes and meets Walter and ends up giving him the keys to his personal car. It was like a, car with low mileage car, new car. Gives Walter gives him the keys of the car. Walter gets, he stays on with the company, obviously, works his way up, and he ends up making it up to like a managerial spot a few years later. But the kid, it's just a story of perseverance where most people just said, well, screw it, I'm not going, or whatever, they can fire me if they want. Walter was willing to work, but the police angle is these coppers, instead of harassing them, they bought him breakfast
And lunch.
and they got him there, and now Walter is a U.S. Marine.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is a great story. And
So it happened in 2018.
2018.
So he was 20 at the time. So
So
he's
he's-
27, 28,
Yeah.
29.
well, I just got a text message from Ken Plackey. Walter Carr can now take his car down to Schicker Automotive for lifetime oil changes free.
You don't wanna be good
Just him.
about the price on the
He's been
sticker.
paying less attention than me.
Where you get the best deal.
Oh, I like the Walter Carr story.
This is good.
Walter Carr.
I do like the Walter
What
Carr.
do you got? What happened today in this day in history? What do
Well,
you got?
I'm gonna have to brush through it because we've been breathy.
Right?
We've been breathy.
Yes, we have.
So
I'm-
this day in history, 1968 was the very first 911 call in the United States of America.
Uh-oh.
It was down in Alabama, John, in a small town in Alabama, and it was in 1968.
Suspicious person.
No, it was just two senators called each other to prove it would work. 911 and this and that.
So two suspicious people.
I like that. So, but we're in 1968 doing that, JJ. In the UK, 911 system, it was not 911, it was called 999, was in 1937. They've been doing a national emergency number in the UK since 1937.
Wow.
So the United States wasn't interested in doing this. They didn't make it a priority until
Uh-oh. So now you're going to get to the root.
There's until
There's a root of 911.
like everything else, nothing happens until something bad happens.
So what's the
Right.
root of 911?
So in Queens, New York, Kitty Genovese.
Oh,
Kitty
mobster?
Genovese, 28-year-old. She's a bar manager.
What
Yeah.
did you say?
I thought mobster.
As soon as you say Genovese,
Genovese.
Yeah. No, well, John, you have a picture.
Was it
of her.
bombing? Was it bombing?
But she's
She's a bar manager
okay.
and a bookie, small bookie.
She's interesting.
Yeah, she's very interesting. So Kitty Genovese closes her bar. She gets in her red Fiat, and this is in 1964,
So she's a barmaid.
and a little small-time bookie.
So she was a mobster.
She's a character.
No.
She's interesting.
on.
She's
She
definitely
took a
interesting.
little book.
All right.
I like
All
it.
right.
She's 28 years old. She gets in a red Fiat driving home. She closed down the bar. She's at a red light, and a guy pulls up next to her. Let me get his name again.
Then he blows the car up.
No, there's no blowing up.
No.
No
JJ.
bombs.
That's Richard Beck.
There's no blowing up in this. All right, JJ.
Okay.
And I messed up the thing. All right, so Mr. Mosley pulls up next to her in a car. She's in a red Fiat. She takes off to go to her apartment building. She parks in her spot at the apartment complex. Mosley follows her. She notices he's following her. She's going to the front door. He's in that picture. He chases her down and stabs her 2 times in the back, and she falls down. He leaves her for dead. But there was a lot of screaming at the time, and she was like, he's stabbing me and this and that. And somebody yells out the window, leave that girl alone. They just thought it was drunk lovers' quarrel. Leave that girl alone. Mosley leaves. She's badly injured. She crawls to the back of the apartment complex where there's an alley and there's no way for any witnesses. The door's locked. Mosley comes back 15 minutes later because he said, she might still be alive. Finds her trying to claw in the back door. Stabs her numerous times. She's got stab wounds in her hand, so she was trying to defend herself. After he stabs her multiple more times, he rapes her.
Jesus.
And then takes $49 out of her pocket and leaves, and she dies. 6 days later, 6 days later, Mosley gets picked up on a burglary. This is his first time he's ever been arrested. He is a father of 3 children with no record. He's a machine operator with no criminal record. Gets picked up doing a burglary. He ends up confessing to killing Genovese, to killing 2 other people, and to raping dozens and dozens of girls. Wow. And multiple burglaries. He just opens up. He obviously gets convicted, and he is sentenced to death.
Good.
He leaves the courtroom, and he's being taken to the penitentiary. He escapes the sheriffs, gets off into the woods, wherever the hell, into a abandoned house, and holds up there for 3 days. The owners of the place come in for no reason, whatever. They go to their abandoned place. It's an older man and his wife. He kills the man and rapes the lady.
Jesus.
And then gets caught and goes to the penitentiary. So this caused an outrage because the New York Times wrote this is the first instance of fake news, I believe. The New York Times took interest in this story, and they wrote that 38 witnesses saw this crime happening and nobody called the police. 38 witnesses. No, they first said 37 witnesses, and then the next day they changed it to 38. Well, the police investigation showed that there was no witnesses. There was some audio witnesses, the guy that yelled, leave that lady alone, and 2 people called the police, but back in the day in the United States, there was no 911, so all they did was call the precinct, and some desk sergeant answered the phone eventually, and didn't get through, whatever the hell.
Say what?
Yeah. So this caused great outrage throughout the country, and people were saying, hey, the UK has a 911 system, 999 system. We need to get it. So 4 years later, they were able to deploy a 911 system and this and that. The New York Times report of 38 witnesses wasn't redacted by the New York Times until 2016, when they said, oh, yeah, that report was flawed. It's
Sorry
the first
about
time they acknowledged that.
Sorry about that.
There was no 38 witnesses. There was none.
Yeah.
So that's how the 911 came to America.
Wow. And you,
Genovese.
as a major or captain, you worked in the 911 center.
Yeah. As a lieutenant, yeah.
Lieutenant?
Yeah.
We're going to do a
And-
show on the 911.
Yeah, so
We
shout
need
out
do
to
a
our
show.
911 people and all the calls you get.
And today it was in the 1968.
First
on
one.
today's
Hey,
date.
That's crazy.
First one. And it wasn't in the 70s and 80s. Yes, it was the first call, but it wasn't until the late 80s, early 90s that 100% of America was covered by 911. There was still very seldom.
Any of your
people.
kids ever called 911?
Oh, dude.
I don't know.
I had one.
one of mine. I won't.
Really?
I won't give them up. If we had one, fired it up.
Someone asked me to do speak in front of a kindergarten class, and and so I took questions and answers, and one of the kids raised his hand and says, "I go, yeah." He goes, "You're really not supposed to call 911 to get a peanut butter jar open."
No, heck no.
I go, "No, you can't, buddy." But anyway, that's
a crazy story, isn't it?
it's unbelievable. I can't believe we took that long for 911.
1937, the UK had 999. If you're in the UK now and you're a tourist and you see something and you dial 911, it will transfer to the 999 system.
They're ahead of
over
the
there.
game.
What about
they're
over
way
here? If you dial 999,
Great question.
Nothing.
I don't know.
right. Check it out, JJ. Try it.
Yeah,
Call 9999.
JJ, are you sitting on a Zen? Let's
Come
wrap this
on,
up.
JJ.
Let's wrap this up.
All right, but hey, all right. I wanted to say something else first, though. I want to give a shout out to my guys they're injured. They're doing really well, and I want to give credit to Jim Trice, who owns Superior Building Group, that's building their ramps to get into their house.
And Corby Campbell.
But Corby Campbell set that up.
Yes, he did. Corby Campbell set it up. Gossip dies when it hits a wise person's ears. Rumors are started by haters, carried by fools, and believed by idiots.
Holy cow!
JJ just comes out swinging.
Well, I hate to
Kinda
give.
directed at me.
I really don't want to give credit to
It was
the
kind of
person.
directed at me.
I got to give credit to where credit is due. Danny stole it from somebody and gave it to me.
Say it one more time, because I think I kind of felt hurt by it.
Gossip dies when it hits a wise person's ears. Rumors are started by haters, carried by fools, and believed by idiots.
I can tell, but I used to start the rumors. But if I start the rumors, but you guys believed them,
So we're the idiots.
there you guys are the idiots. That's right.
You're a
That's what I'm
hater.
saying. I wasn't a hater. I just would like to embellish it to make it
And they
look.
didn't stop until
It
it hit a
it does
wise
say
man's ears. That's
rumors
producer
are
John's.
started by haters, so he's a hater.
Yeah, you're a hater.
I don't know if they were. I was an embellisher.
Hey, and that
I would
was
add
brought
shit
to you.
to truth.
That was brought to you by Prime Performance, where I'm a customer of, and they have two locations: one in Fenton, one in O'Fallon, Illinois, and they do all kinds of stuff. I'm on a program for them to get me energy and stuff, and it's working. Grabbing on it for about
Peptides. They got steroids. They got all kinds of stuff. And then if you mention our name, you get a special discount on their memberships.
Is that true?
Yes, you get a discount on the membership. You got to get a membership though. Don't go get one shot.
No.
Get a membership so
But
you can go back all the time.
But I have Lisa wants to go down. I'm taking her next week. She wants to get us some stuff.
That's
but
yeah.
you can get B12 shots, and actually vitamin D is a big thing. You can get vitamin D
Thank you.
shots. It's
Prime
awesome.
Performance.
Prime Performance.
All right.
They're rocking it.
Tommy, what about our
Communities that
communities?
support law enforcement are safer places to live.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank